For example, some kids in Tonawanda had their minds on a different kind of competition tonight. The Kenmore East Band hosting the first color guard competition for this year, in which 12 teams took part. Flipping their guns to the beat here is the Renaissance, with family and friends looking on. Well, Mark Cooper in now with sports, and man, I just simply cannot wait until the game tomorrow.
This has been a long week. I mean, waiting for this to come up. I mean, we've practically run out of
adjectives.
It's like
waiting for Christmas almost if you're a kid, you know, the anticipation.
Yeah, you know, I didn't grow up in Buffalo, but I mean, I always remember watching Buffalo fans and just watching how fans followed the team here. And of course, I was just down the road in Syracuse when the team was 2-14, and we saw so many Buffalo fans struggling through it. And I'm so thrilled for the team because so many of these guys were on that team, and to see a team turn around so quickly, you just don't see this happen in professional sports very often.
You got to be
2-14 a few years ago, and now here they go. The Bills, obviously, I would think, are going to find it hard to fall asleep tonight. Most of them will be playing in the biggest game of their football careers tomorrow when they take on the Bengals for the AFC Championship. Now, the matchup has been analyzed through and through this week. All that's left now is to play the game. And quarterback Jim Kelly says the Bills absolutely, positively want to make sure they don't let this opportunity pass them by.
We've heard a lot, you know, they have been basking in the spotlight, but one thing, you know, like Joe Devlin and Fred Smurfs, two guys that have been here a while, said that we may never get this opportunity again. We have to bust our butts and work as hard as we can because we may never be back in this situation again. We've been serious this week. We've been doing the things that we had to do, and once the game's, you know, on, it's 11 against 11. It's just a matter of us going out and doing the job.
Well, meanwhile, the flu bug has been making the rounds in the Cincinnati Bengals camp this week. 4 players missed practice on Thursday. Up to 16 players on the squad have felt flu symptoms, but they're saying the outbreak won't slow them down any more than the usual pregame jitters.
Oh, you can be as sick as you want, but when the crowd gets roaring, I think all the sickness and all the little owies will be behind you, and the adrenaline will start flowing, and everybody just want to play football.
I don't think that's going to play a big factor once game time rolls around because I think the adrenaline will be flowing and you can put all that aside and it's going to be decided on the field.
I think everybody's going to be feeling all right. And with a game like this, you really, the cold or flu or whatever, you really don't think about it after the game starts. After the game, you might feel bad, but during the game, it won't bother anybody, I don't think.
Jitters, butterflies?
Quite a bit, you know, all over the team. You know, the adrenaline's running. You know, we've never been in well, most of us haven't been in a game as big as this. And, you know, we have a great opportunity. We have home field advantage, and you know, you're not going to get a better chance than this.
We always feel like this until that first contact really started. Other than that, things are going well. You know, we had our last meeting, and, you know, everybody's ready.
Obviously, Bills fans are hoping that the Bengals will be suffering from defeat sickness tomorrow afternoon. There was college bowl action this afternoon. This was all-star action, East versus West in the Hula Bowl. The big names were there at quarterback for the West, Troy Aikman and Rodney Peete. But it was Duke quarterback Anthony Dilweg who stole the spotlight. He threw 3 touchdown passes to Michigan State's Andre Rison in a 21-10 East victory over the West All-Stars. On to hockey. The Sabres snapped their 4-game losing streak with a 6-1 rout of the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. Rick Vaive scoring 2 goals to lead the Sabres attack. Second period, the Leafs were up 1-0. Vaive comes in, blasts a shot over Ken Reggett's shoulder. It was a nice pass from Ruutu, and that tied the score at 1-1. Just a minute and a half later on the power play, Vaive feeds Pierre Turgeon in front. He scores. It was 2-1 Sabres. It was a big second period for Buffalo. Some great work behind the net. The puck comes out to Calle Johansson, and he scores his first goal of the season. It was 3-1 Sabres after 2. They poured it on in the third period. Turgeon to Phil Housley. Phil scores his 18th of the season past Reggett. 2 minutes after that, it was Rick Vaive coming in again. He scores his second of the game right past Reggett into the open net. And finally, Mark Napier, the veteran, would round out the scoring in a 6-1 Sabres victory. This was a much-needed win, their first victory of 1989, and the first they hope of many to come in the second half of the season. Look at the Sabres scores, and of course the big game Monday night is the Central Red Army from the Soviet Union comes into the odd to take on the Sabres. Running down the NHL scores tonight, Montreal beat the Boston Bruins in the Forum 3-1, and Vancouver beat Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh 7-5. Battle of the Big Apple went to the Rangers tonight, 5-1 the final score. The Devils at home beat the Red Wings 5-2. Adam Creighton had a goal for the Blackhawks, but they lost to Washington 6-3. Calgary beat the Oilers 7-2, and the Blues were home and were victorious over Philadelphia 6-4. Exhibition action, the Russians against Hartford, the Red Army team winning 6-3 tonight. As I said, they're going to be in Buffalo Monday night. Dynamo Riga over Minnesota this afternoon, 2-1. On to basketball. The Niagara Purple Eagles raised their North Atlantic Conference record to 2-0 with a win over Colgate tonight. Number 40 for Niagara. Tony Francis led Niagara with 17 points and 8 rebounds in this game. The Purple Eagles had a balanced scoring attack. They had 5 players in double figures. There's a look at some of Francis's action tonight against Colgate. However, Colgate got a great effort from Jim Bogowski. He led all scorers in this game with 23 points. He also hauled down 10 rebounds for the Red Raiders. Niagara won the game, though, 88-81. Niagara is 5-6 overall on the season. The Purple Eagles will play at Siena next Thursday. For the second night in a row, the Canisius Golden Griffins managed only 16 first-half points. The Griffs fell to Hofstra in the consolation game of the WLKF Classic in Lakeland, Florida. Hofstra won this game 68-55, so it was a good second half for the Griffs, but it was a game that saw the Griffs hit with a team record 39 fouls. Hofstra hit on 33 of 50 trips to the foul stripe. Canisius slips to 2-7 on the year. The Griffs will host Siena on Monday. That game starts at 6. The UB Bulls rallied from a 3-point halftime deficit to beat Lemoyne College of Syracuse tonight. This was the Mid-East Collegiate Conference opener for both teams. Brian Houston scored 25 points and also hauled down 8 rebounds to lead the Bulls to a 74-71 victory over the Dolphins. UB now 8-5 on the year. Other local college scores: Allegheny playing against ECC and won over the Cats 93-91. Damon College goes on the road to Cortland State and wins in double overtime. Jim Chapman with 28 points and 20 rebounds to lead Damon to a 98-84 win. And in the Frostburg tournament, Buffalo State victorious against Maryvale 82-64. In a top 20 clash in the Dean Dome this afternoon, number 9 Iowa goes up against number 6 North Carolina and pulls off the upset. The Hawkeyes led by 3 in the closing minutes, but with 1:05 left to play, the Tar Heels' Rick Fox goes in, hits a layup. This one ties the score at 97-all as Fox goes inside. Final minute of play, the closing seconds. North Carolina's Jeff Lebo missed a short jumper. It appeared Iowa's Ed Horton was fouled underneath, but the officials awarded the free throws to Roy Marble. Well, Dean Smith was furious because Marble was hot. Horton had missed some free throws earlier. Marble goes to the line, hits 1 of 2. Iowa wins at 98-97. Marble led the Hawkeyes with 23 points. The Syracuse Orangemen rebounded from their loss to Pitt by crushing Seton Hall in the Carrier Dome tonight. Derek Coleman with 21 points to lead all 5 SU starters in double figures. The Orangemen pounded Seton Hall 90-66. Syracuse raises its record to 14-1 with the win. It was Seton Hall's first loss of the season. Top 20 scores. Number 1, Duke getting a tough time against Virginia in the second half. It was 62-60. Duke leading by a bucket. Syracuse, as we said, beat Seton Hall. Illinois in the Big Ten winning handily over Michigan State. North Carolina Charlotte loses against number 4 Oklahoma. Georgetown an easy time with Miami this afternoon, 112-79. Michigan beat up on Northwestern 94-66. Arizona knocked off Cal this afternoon 64-55. Missouri victorious by 9 over Colorado. Louisville 81-67 over DePaul. Ohio State in the Big Ten over Wisconsin by 3, and Florida State blows out Southern Mississippi 104-79. Temple goes to North Carolina State and loses. Jim Valvano's Wolfpack pulling it out 71-59. Tennessee victorious by a point over Mississippi State. Kansas at home and easily handles Iowa State 127-82. Georgia Tech beat Wake Forest, and the upset of the night, Florida over Georgia 80-66. Women's college basketball, Niagara at DePaul, and DePaul wins handily 81-56, although freshman Jennifer Jones had 17 points for the Lady Purple Eagles. NBA tonight, Cleveland in an afternoon game beat the Knicks 104-96. Charlotte by 3 over Washington. At Atlanta, the Hawks beat New Jersey 103-93. Indiana wins easily over Detroit. Game still in progress right now. Milwaukee hosting Utah. Milwaukee leading in the second quarter 43-31. Philadelphia beat Houston by a point, 96-95. Well, have you ever tried bowling in the dark? It's not easy, as the pros found out during a power outage today. This came in the finals of the ARC Pinole Open in California. Once they did get the lights back on in this tournament, Ernie Schlegel came on. He won all the way through in the stepladder finals today and finally beat David D'Entremont 268 to 215 to win the $18,000 top prize in this tournament. It was Schlegel's first tour win in 4 years. Steve Jones carded 3 straight birdies to take the lead after 3 rounds of the Money Tournament of Champions Golf Classic today. Jones birdied the 14th and 15th. Then he chipped in here for another birdie at 16 to move to 7 under par for the tournament. He finished at 6 under after the round today. Chip Beck had the lead, but he bogeyed 4 holes on the back 9. This is one of them. Lanny Watkins and Ben Crenshaw trail Jones by 2 heading into the final round tomorrow. You will see final round coverage of the Money Tournament of Champions tomorrow on Channel 7 starting at 3 in the afternoon. And finally tonight at Buffalo Raceway, 2 and 1. The double paying $20.20. Sabres end their losing streak. Maybe that's an omen for the Bills going into tomorrow's game.
Let's hope so, anyway. Kind of interesting, you were talking about in the NBA scores, Detroit losing to the Indiana Pacers. You know, their assistant coach, Dick Versace, just took over as head coach of the Pacers a couple of days ago, and he comes back and beats his old club already.
My NBA man, you're keeping me on tap on all the NBA news, because we have a tendency sometimes to scoop past that sometimes, so keep me in check.
It's interesting. Okay? FYI,
right.
sort of stuff. Thanks, Scoop.
All right.
Well, coming up on Nightcast, should be a somewhat chilly day for football in Cincinnati. Certainly not as bad as it was back there in 1982, that game against San Diego. Lori Lasowski, though, is outside with the forecast for game day.
Well, Warren, it's going to be far from ideal football weather, and I'll tell you all about it when we come back.
Hooray! We day! Hooray! We day! Hooray! We day! Throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on.
I got a chance to step out back of the station here a few minutes ago, and not a bad night at all. Kind of windy, though, but still pretty mild for this time of year.
Pretty mild. It's going to get warmer, but look at this, Warren. The rain is starting to come down, and I don't have my AccuWeather umbrella. Let's hope it doesn't get into a downpour before the weather outside is over with. So that's what we can expect overnight. Some rain into tomorrow as well, but temperatures will be going up. But if you want to catch those wonderful temperatures, you're going to have to enjoy them between now and about 7 or 8 in the morning. Then temperatures will start to go down, and it's going to be a chilly day to watch football. A great day to watch football here in Buffalo, and they're going to be looking at similar weather conditions down in Cincinnati as well, with this wind really kicking up. Let's take a look at today in Buffalo. High topped out 43 degrees, our current reading. The low 31 early this morning. Records 54 back in 1935 and -5 in 1942. Average temperatures 30 and 18 is where we should be, so we're above normal, kind of enjoying this burst of mild weather. And last year, high was 20 and the low was 7. Let's go to the maps now. We can see the local radar picture and some thunderstorm activity. Yes, you did hear me correctly. Up around London, Ontario, you can see right northeast of Lake Ontario, a lot of rain coming down there. Here in Buffalo, really not seeing too much now, just starting to move in to the city. Now we'll go to the maps. Well, first of all, take a look at the football weather for tomorrow. At Cincinnati, look for a windy day. Temperatures starting out in the 40s and then falling as the day goes on. In San Francisco, over in Chicago, it's going to be only about 9 degrees there. Windy, bitterly cold, and some flurries. So it looks like the football weather tomorrow could be a little bit better. And Mark Cooper rescuing me right now with an umbrella. Thank you very much, Roy. Here's the radar post picture. We can see heavy activity in the Mississippi River Valley. Some tornadoes spotted today in parts of Illinois, Elkhart, Indiana, right outside of South Bend. A tornado touched down there, and we're seeing blizzard-like conditions in North Dakota, South Dakota, and also Minnesota, but we're not going to be seeing that. Not at all, just some flurries in our forecast. Warm air continues to bubble up from the Gulf Coast, bringing with it a lot of moisture, fueling that storm that is coming to a head right over here in the Great Lakes region, trailing cold fronts. You see all the moisture associated with those cold fronts. We're seeing the effect of this warm front coming through now. Once it passes through tomorrow, temperatures will be going down as the cold front passes through, coming in tomorrow morning. And behind that, some flurry activity, and you see that storm will just be moving right up to the northeast. High pressure takes in a little bit later in the week on Monday and Tuesday, so things will be clear and maybe even a little bit of sunshine. For our lows, take a look out west. Minus single digits, minus teens, where that jet stream is dripping down already and bringing in the blustery conditions. Wind chill factors out in the middle plain states, minus 50 to minus 60 below zero, so we can count our blessings. And for us tonight, we're going to look at temperatures rising, and tomorrow morning topping out around 50 degrees and then falling rapidly into more normal weather for this time of year. Well, currently at the airport right now, we have 43 degrees on the hour, relative humidity 62%. The barometer is rapidly falling with that storm approaching, 29.77. Winds out of the south-southeast, 16 miles per hour with higher gusts up to 25. And we did record a trace of precipitation at the airport. Here's the AccuWeather forecast for you for tonight. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies, windy, some rain, temperatures rising, low of 43, and just continuing to climb as the day goes on, the night goes on. Wind out of the south-southwest, 15 to 30 miles per hour for tomorrow. We're looking at high winds, a bit of rain, then turning colder. That rain changing into flurries by tomorrow night, high of 50 degrees. That's going to be in the early morning hours, then falling as the day goes on. You can see the winds continuing very, very strong with gusts maybe up to 50 miles per hour. For tomorrow night, we're looking at a big change, more wintry weather, low of 18 degrees, windy and cold, some flurries. Lake effect snow could develop south of the city, and they could add a couple of inches to the ski slopes down there, and the wind out of the west dying down a little bit, 15 to 30 miles per hour. Our sun will be up tomorrow morning at 7:46 and set at 4:58, giving us one more minute of daylight. Lake Erie just a couple of degrees away from the freezing mark, and Ontario 37 degrees. Here's the long-range forecast coming up. Kind of a wintry scene, looking at a creek there. Sunday turning colder, high of 50, then going down into the teens. Monday, cold flurries, 22 will be our high. Tuesday, partial sunshine, 27. Wednesday, we're looking at a cold day, some more flurries in the picture, 27 degrees. Thursday, breezy, 35 degrees. So a night of some mild weather, then back into wintry weather. AccuWeather words for you tonight: warming up, then cooling down. You can see, Warren, I'm in my Bills attire, but my brother is going to be wearing this tomorrow because this is his game shirt.
Hey, and the moral of this story is ask and ye shall receive. See,
That's right.
You talked about it was raining and you were caught without your umbrella, and look.
Thank God for Mark Cooper.
Indeed.
Woo!
Hold on, don't blow away on us.
I'll try not to.
Okay, thanks, Lori.
Okay.
Still to come, folks. 1 down and 2 to go.
Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout. Yeah, 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 yeah. Shout it right now, baby.
This just into Eyewitness News, a breaking news story going on right now in the town of Tonawanda. As we understand it, and I have to preface this by saying that we don't have anything officially confirmed at this hour, but as we understand it, the Buffalo SWAT team has been called to a town of Tonawanda home. The address is 113 Kyle Street. That could be K-Y-L-E or it could be K-A-I-L. In any event, Buffalo SWAT team has been called to the place. As we understand it, officers tried to serve an arrest warrant on a man who refused to give himself up and then hold himself up in the house. At this time, as we understand it, this man is considered armed and is considered dangerous. We are endeavoring to try to get a live picture up from the scene there. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do that before this newscast is over or not. I've been told that we will not be able to bring you live pictures from the scene. However, again, to repeat, on Kyle Street, Buffalo SWAT team has been called out. A man is holed up in his house. They tried to arrest him, have been unable to do so far. The man is armed and considered dangerous. And we will, of course, have more on this coming up tomorrow on Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock. One programming note here now. Channel 7 is going to have a live special report. The
preceding program was a rebroadcast of Eyewitness News Nightcast, which originally aired last evening on Channel 7.